The moment we are born as human beings, somehow our lives got complicated. If we had come here as any other creature on this planet, life would be very simple. Eating, sleeping, reproducing and dying one day. Now we have to do all those things, but somehow where you are right now, wherever you may be, is not enough, isn't it? You want to be little more than what you're right now. If you know only money, maybe you're thinking of little more money. If you know only pleasure, maybe little more pleasure. Power, little more power. Everybody is wanting to be little more than what they're right now. The process of desiring is continuously going on. Whether you're going to work, or you're going to the bar, or you're going to the temple, or you're getting married, or you're having children, you're studying in a university, all this effort of life, everything was in pursuit of happiness, is it so? In the last 100 years, with the use of science and technology, we have changed the very face of this planet. Today, we have the kind of comforts and conveniences that no other generation could ever even imagine. We are definitely the most comfortable generation ever on this planet, is it so? But are we also the most joyful generation? So it's not worked. Every creature, from plant to animal to everything, including human beings, have paid an enormous price to create these comforts and conveniences, and we are not even happy. What is the point? We have engineered the world today in many ways so that it functions better for us, isn't it? We have done nothing about ourselves. It's time to really look at it, isn't it? In the last 24 hours, how many moments of joy have you known? When you were 5 years of age, a child, how many moments of joy did you know in 24 hours? The whole equation has gotten reversed somehow. It doesn't matter where you are sitting in a palace or in heaven, but your inner situation is not good, it doesn't matter, isn't it? This mind could have been a source of ecstasy, but this mind has become a source of misery for most people, tension, anxiety, depression. Why? You just don't know how to handle it, isn't it? See, there's only one problem with your life. Life is not happening the way you think it should happen. That's the only problem. Is there any other problem? Nobody around you will happen 100% your way, isn't it so? Yes? Nobody happens your way, it's okay. The problem is, this one is not happening your way, that is the problem, isn't it? People have concluded that stress is a part of their life. Stress is not a part of your life, it is just that you do not know how to manage your body, you do not know how to manage your mind, you do not know how to manage your emotions or your life energies. Everything is happening accidentally. So if things happen your way, you have begun to understand in the world that you have to engineer it. The same with you. No inner engineering has been done for you, isn't it? Just by accident you're trying to happen. Now I'm talking about creating the right kind of chemistry within you, where to be peaceful and blissful is just natural to you.
Welcome and thank you for tuning in. You're listening to the Beyond 50 radio program. I'm Daniel Davis. On the program today, for those who want to find their inner selves and see how they can become their greatest potential, we're going to be delving into what is known as the science and technology for inner well-being, simply known as inner engineering. On the program today, we're going to be joined by a yoga instructor who teaches the Foundation's flagship program, Inner Engineering, across India and North America. We'll also learn about what inner engineering is as a technology for well-being derived from the science of yoga and its many benefits that was designed by Sadhguru, an Indian yogi and author. I'd like to welcome to the Beyond 50 radio program today our guest, Ganesh Narayanaswamy, joining us here on the program today. Ganesh, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Daniel. Yeah, wonderful to be with you.
Now, when did you start on this path? What influenced you to move into this direction with your life?
Yeah, that's a great question. I took the inner engineering program myself in 2008 in Atlanta. I was living in Georgia at the time. And, I had tried other types of yoga and meditation, some Buddhist meditation and, studio yoga, gym yoga. But what I found was while, they had many benefits in terms of, physical body, and while I was doing the practices, I didn't feel any lasting, change or transformation in terms of how I went through life. I was still struggling with, just day-to-day stress and anxiety and just, overactive mind, those kind of things. But once I took this program, kind of everything changed for me. It really opened up life and started to align everything around me. And, I'll talk more about the program, but really it gave me such a stable foundation to just live joyfully. And that was a huge, shift for me in terms of the way I used to experience life. So since then, I've been involved with the foundation, and I've been fortunate to be a full-time volunteer with the foundation at the main center in North America, the Isha Institute of Inner Sciences, which is in Tennessee, for the last 7 years. So, yeah, just very lucky and blessed to be here and supporting in whichever way I can.
So let's go ahead and talk about what inner engineering is, how it was developed, and how it can help people to craft, let's say, their own destiny.
Sure. So inner engineering was developed by Sadhguru. Sadhguru is a yogi, he's a mystic and a visionary humanitarian. So he established the Isha Foundation over 35 years ago. And the main, idea of inner engineering is, as Sadhguru mentions, we engineer everything around us, and we know that in order for something to work, we have to engineer it. And that's brought us a lot of comfort and convenience, and, technology has empowered us in so many ways externally, but it hasn't really addressed how we experience life or how we go through life. So this is where inner engineering, this is why he's called it inner engineering, is because just like we can engineer what's around us, we can also do some simple things with our system, our body, our mind, our emotions, and our energies, to create a chemistry where, we can just be joyful and peaceful without having to search for it from outside. So this can be a natural state within us that we can carry with us. And something, I heard Sadhguru say early on, which really attracted me, was he said life should not be a pursuit of happiness, it should be an expression of happiness or an expression of joy. And that really resonated with me because, normally in our society we're always told we have to do certain things or have certain things, we have to go here or there to be happy. But really, there's a simple way to make that our happiness and pleasantness be our normal state, and then everything can be an outpouring or an expression of that. So that was really powerful, and that's what inner engineering, fundamentally can bring.
Yeah, a lot of people, they seem to always want to search for ways that they can stay happy, ways
Right.
that they can actually, I guess, not feel the pain that seems to come from our everyday experiences, occurrences, fate, you name it. Now, the question actually becomes, too, because you see people be disappointed, whether they decide, I'm going to turn myself over to God, and they start joining a neighborhood church. And I've even heard people say this after a while. They say, I've been going to church religiously, let's say every Sunday, for now a couple of months, and I don't feel that I'm any happier or better off than I was when I started. And my immediate question was, what made you feel that going to church, going somewhere else, was going to bring that to you? What would you say to somebody like that?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're looking at here. It's not about church or a temple or somewhere else. It's just about, not having to look outside for your happiness and your well-being, that everything is right there within us. Our whole experience of life is anyways created from within. So if we know how to take charge of that and do some simple things with our system, we can create that very easily for ourselves. And then, life can be so very, very different and just very freeing and just an exuberant expression of that. So nothing wrong with going to church or going here or there. It's just that, that can be your choice based on, first you set that ambiance and that feeling within yourself that you can create pleasantness no matter what's happening. And then, in terms of activity or what you want to do with your life or where you want to go, that's totally up to you. So that was, a very big empowerment for me. And also what really resonated was that this was never a teaching or a philosophy or a belief system or a religion, or it was always approached very scientifically as a technology, which is something I used to be an engineer in software that really connected with me. If you use it as a technology, as a tool, if you do simple things, it'll work. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you believe in. So that was very empowering because I knew that it didn't matter what my past was or what I was doing or what my capability was. I just had to do, this practice or use these tools. So that's something anyone can make use of, and that's a beautiful thing about the program and this whole process.
So let's talk about, if you can, and not that we have to go deep into it now, but give folks an idea how inner engineering was created, let's say, as a technology, because a lot of times people may think of technology and, let's say, inner work or behavior to be two separate things. Technology being something that maybe in engineering is an electrical force or powered by batteries, whatever the case is. But in this case, we're talking about a person, perhaps even a soul, psychic makeup, things like that.
So Sadhguru looks at it very scientifically in terms of there's 4 dimensions of who we are as a person, in terms of our body, our mind, our emotions, and our energies. If we look at it this way, in terms of these 4 dimensions, there's various things that we can do in order to take charge of each of these dimensions and make, ourselves be the best version of ourselves or enhance ourselves in each of these 4 ways. So that's how he looks at it. And in a way, if you look at the inner engineering program, just to briefly summarize, we can go more in depth as well. But the first part of it is what we refer to as inner engineering online, where there's 7 online classes, each about 90 minutes. And this is a combination of discourses from Sadhguru as well as meditative processes. There's awareness exercises and also other yogic practices. So all of these classes are designed to take charge of the mind and the emotions. Sadhguru says that if you simply take charge of your mind and your emotions, even the way you perceive life, the way you approach your life can be very transformative and empowering. And then the second part, or after you complete the online program, it's what's known as inner engineering completion. And this is where you learn the practice, which is a 21-minute meditation practice, which involves the breath and involves, working with your energy system. And this is what Sadhguru says can really address your physical body and your energies, because there are also preparatory postures or asanas, what we call in the yogic sciences, to make your body more flexible and also prepare the body to take charge of your energy system or enhance your energies. So these, 2 aspects of the program address, all the 4 different dimensions of who we really are. And so by looking at it this way, it's, very tangible and very scientific and very accessible. It's not something you have to, read about or think about. It's not even at the level of the mind. You're using a much deeper science from the yogic tradition to work on all these levels, if that makes sense.
So now, as people decide that this is the direction they want to go, how do they experience the process, for one? And then What have they felt the benefits of approaching this have been for them?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, in terms of the benefits, many health benefits are there, especially in terms of relieving chronic ailments. We actually have many research studies that have been done on the 21-minute meditation practice and have shown that it significantly lowers things like hypertension, asthma, headache, backache, migraines, diabetes, digestive disorders, even anxiety, depression. So basically anything that can be created from within as a chronic ailment, if you look at it that way, can be relieved, because the whole idea of the practice is it balances the inner chemistry. So anyways, this body will naturally, fix itself in this way. But if we look at it, and in a way, these are all side benefits. We say, when you are in yoga, when you're in a state of yoga, these benefits will anyway happen. So the purpose or the fundamental objective of yoga is really to create the right kind of inner situation, which we were looking at as an inner situation where you can be peaceful and joyful regardless of what the external situation is. We often use the example of, you know, all of us going to a mountain or a beach. You see, if you go to a mountain and you spend 10 minutes there, you do feel peaceful. But in a peaceful place, it's not your peace. That and the mountain or the beach has actually lent you, 10 minutes of its peace. But if you come back outside and you found somebody left a big scratch on your car, then all that peace goes away. Again, you start
Absolutely, yeah.
cursing the whole world. So anyone can be peaceful if the environment is peaceful, and that's largely where how the society is approached in terms of peace and joy. You go to a certain place, you get a massage, or you go to a spa, or you watch a baseball game, or you go have a drink. So you do something to achieve this peace or joy. Where what we're saying is, if you can be peaceful even in a busy marketplace, if you can be peaceful in a place which is full of problems, even if somebody puts you in the most intense, extreme situation, you can still be peaceful and joyful. Then that is your peace. That's peace that stays with you, and allows you to not only handle every situation with ease and effortlessly, but really enhances your whole experience of life. So that's really the fundamental objective of yoga or inner engineering, and all the other health benefits, are really just a consequence of being in that inner state.
Yeah, I know. It's like when you consider the one of the precepts of Buddhism is the idea to get away from attachment, or to relieve yourself from attachment. And it's pretty amazing when people have difficult things happen in their life, whether it was something that somebody did to them or a circumstance that makes them feel, why is life always treating me this way, that they can kind of go down that rabbit hole, if you will, and stay in that state sometimes for years. And you kind of think to yourself, when you're there, you kind of begin seeing the world through a filter where you miss opportunities for growth.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one of the important things. That's something I noticed right away with the practice is, all that thinking about the past or blaming, the past or the childhood or this or that. It kind of went away because you start to realize that you can take charge of yourself. And, once you start doing the practice, your whole, outlook on life becomes much more positive and so much more healthy and empowering, that all of that other stuff in terms of, ruminating over the past or what happened or what caused this or that, it kind of just falls away on its own. And I know, I used to, explore a lot of different self-help or, as I said, other types of meditation. And a lot of that kind of tries to work on the past and analyze and, try to draw some conclusion about this causing that. And what I realize is ultimately that doesn't really get you anywhere. That doesn't really create any solution or freedom for yourself. But if you can really change the chemistry of how you function, then all that becomes again a thing of the past that you don't really have to worry about, and you're just free from that. So, yeah, I think a lot of that's why we all of us here are investing our lives into this because we know this works, and it's a way forward that doesn't require the same kind of effort and struggle that a lot of people think that they have to go through in order to experience this.
So let's talk about how people begin to, I guess, do the program, where they can find out about it. Are there special requirements, anything like that?
No requirements. As I said, you go to the website innerengineering.com, and you can start with the online course, Inner Engineering Online. And this can be done by anyone 15 years of age or above. And again, since it's online, it can be done in the comfort of your own home, at your own pace, in your own space. And you have about a month to go through the 7 classes. Again, each one is about 90 minutes. And you'll see it's very intimate. Some people have, a conception or aversion to online programs, but it's very intimate and also experiential, right? When you start it, there are many meditative processes and exercises to help you, apply it to your life. And most people share as soon as they start, they don't even realize how the 7 classes go by. So again, that's the first part of it. Once you complete that, then you'll be eligible for the completion program, where you learn the meditation practice, which is called the Shambhavi Mudra Kriya. So Kriya simply means an inward process. As karma means outward action, Kriya means inward action. So it's an action that's much deeper than what you can generate from your body, your mind, or your emotions. It works at the energy level and helps, again, to create this chemistry within you. So these are the 2 aspects of the program, but everything is available on the website, innerengineering.com, and it's very easy to find out more and also register.
So I suppose one of the big questions as people listen to this, and we brought up yoga, is this similar to yoga? I mean, people think of themselves twisting and holding different positions, but is that what this is?
Yeah, that's a great question. This is actually yoga. So inner engineering is a form of yoga. The word yoga here in the West, many people think it's twisting the body or going, to a studio or doing a lot of, extreme poses. But that's one aspect of yoga, the Hatha Yoga, which is the physical part of it. But we're looking at yoga, Sadhguru looks at it as a much deeper inner science. So the word yoga literally means union. So how to create an inner situation where you can experience everything as a part of you, as become in full union with the existence and with all life around you. That's really the essence and the depth of yoga. And that's what inner engineering can bring. So inner engineering, we're using that word, but it's a form of yoga. There are a few preparatory postures or asanas which we teach as part of the completion program, before you learn the kriya. But also the Shambhavi Mudra Kriya is a yogic practice. It is a form of yoga, but it's done in a cross-legged posture, so a seated posture. So it doesn't require any physical agility, or even the preparatory steps can be done by anyone. And those who have, certain injuries or limitations physically will go through all the modifications and, ways to support them with the practice. So in that way, it's very accessible. It's not something very rigorous or extreme that you have to do with the body. It's more about preparing the body and then sitting for the meditative practice or the Shambhavi practice.
Very good. It's pretty fascinating. Now, how about people, when you think about people that are in certain mental states like depression, how has this been effective for something like that?
Yeah, as I said, there's been research actually showing a decrease in, depression, anxiety. Again, with any practice, and everyone's situation is different. We don't want people to assume just by doing the practice they can stop all their medication. So always, we want everyone to consult with their doctor, because there's various stages and types of depression or mental illness. But definitely, we've seen even with the practice, it can reduce medication. It can help relieve these kind of ailments. And, we'll always advise somebody to work with their physician, and, as they start to see the benefits and the ease and the peace of mind with the practice, then many people reduce and come off the medication. So um, definitely it can help, and there's a good support system after the program in terms of not only supporting you with the practice, but also in terms of working with these kind of ailments and seeing how we can work together to address them.
Well, very good. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for being on the program today to share this with our audience. It certainly sounds like a great thing for people to take a look at and pursue. Again, why don't you go ahead and give out the website again for our listeners so they can find out more about this?
Sure. So the website is innerengineering.com, so www.innerengineering, all one word, .com. And like I said, you can register. You can find out more about the online course and the completion program. And one thing I forgot to mention is recently this year we've started offering the completion program actually online as well. So you can actually learn the Shambhavi Mudra Kriya online, and that'll be towards the end of September. Again, that's all that information is on the website as well. So check it out, and I'm excited to be able to share this with all of you and your listeners, and I hope everybody explores this for themselves, because it's really such a simple way and such a scientific way to take charge of your whole self and really just create a lot of freedom and make life an expression of that rather than a struggle with anything. So it's really changed my life and all of us here, and we really want everybody to touch this and taste this for themselves.
Now, also, I wanted to kind of bring something up here because I think it might be of interest, is the Shambhava Mahamudra Kriya. What exactly is that?
Yeah, so this is the 21-minute meditation practice that you learn as part of the Inner Engineering Completion program. So the completion is like the second step, if you will, after you finish the online course. And this is the practice, like I said, which helps you really take charge of your energies and create a certain chemistry within you that's where peace and joy can be your natural state. So the Kriya works at a much deeper level within your system and helps to balance the system, and it's like almost a cleansing process as well, and really create a certain exuberance within your whole system. So the name of the Kriya is just derived from the ancient tradition, from the yogic tradition, but again, Kriya simply means it's an inward process, an inward action that it incorporates the breath. So just like we're doing many things outwardly in terms of outward activity or action, Kriya is something that is fully inward. Your attention is fully inward. 21-minute practice that you learn as part of the program.
Yeah, and to let people out there understand even the basics of what we're talking about here, if a person can begin to take and pay attention to their thoughts, let's say it might be a Monday morning, you're ready to go to work, and as most, the saying goes, Monday morning blues. But you go in and you think about all these things you believe are going to happen based on what has happened. You maybe had an argument with the boss, or there's a coworker that you're having a rough time with. You pay attention to your thoughts and you see how they stir you emotionally, and then begin to question them. And this is just a basic thing I started doing some years ago. And it becomes very entertaining to realize how fast you can take yourself down the rabbit hole energetically, whether it's anger, irritation, whatever the case is. And the more you start questioning that, the more you start catching those thoughts. So when you say, for instance, to follow this process of inner engineering, I believe that it's true that you can always have an inner sense of peace and joy regardless of the situation. That doesn't mean that emotionally you won't be hurt by something, perhaps a death or a loss, something like that, but that you don't have to stay there, that you accept that as part of, let's say, the wheel of life, and you grow from it, and what's next, kind of a thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. So even the way Sadhguru says it is, if you have a background of blissfulness and pleasantness within you, you can explore grief, but you won't get stuck into it. You can explore every emotion that's part of life. You can be fully involved in life and be fully available to everyone around you and what's happening, and still experience all those emotions, but you won't get lost in them. You won't get stuck in them. You'll be able to, have that balance and handle the situation and, support whoever you're with and, have more clarity in terms of how you approach the situation because your inner state is balanced and taken care of. But it, like you said, it doesn't mean that you're completely, detached from life or unemotional or closed off. It's actually the opposite. It empowers you to, explore, whatever you need to do for a situation and really explore the full range of emotions and experience that fully without getting stuck and lost into that.
So, in other words, it isn't who you are, it's just an aspect of your experience.
Exactly.
Mm.
It gives you that freedom and that inner space that, you're not taken down by what's happening around you. Let's say there's a death or an extreme situation. You're not, it doesn't take you down and make you or something like that, but you have this tool, this practice, which empowers you to be much more available to the situation and really handle it and do the best that you can and really support everyone around you and still explore the full range of emotions. So it's yeah, it's such an empowerment. I don't know how to fully express it in words because it's just just become a living experience, something that we have to experience for ourselves. But like you were saying earlier, the whole feeling of Monday morning blues and all that has kind of gone away from my life. I can't even imagine what stress is anymore. And I'm being honest, like no matter how long the day is or how much activity I feel, just as fresh at the end of the day as I did in the beginning, because nothing really takes a toll on you in terms of and these kind of feelings and these kind of fluctuations of life. So it's really wonderful, and it doesn't mean that you're, distant or uninvolved with life. It's just the opposite. It allows you so much more freedom to be much more engaged and available to all the life around you.
Absolutely. I think that was actually very well said. So one more time, the website they can find out a lot about is the ishafoundation.org.
Yeah, so Isha Foundation is the foundation Sadhguru started over 35 years ago. So this is supported by over 11 million volunteers worldwide in over
Wow.
300 cities worldwide. And we've touched over, believe it or not, over 1 billion people. So that many people have, in some way or another, done one of our practices or experienced what Sadhguru has to offer through the foundation. And so the website for the foundation is isha.sadhguru.org. So Sadhguru is, Isha is ISHA, and Sadhguru is SADHGURU.org. So that's the main website for the foundation. And again, the program we've been looking at is innerengineering.com.
Well, thank you again so much for joining us here on the Beyond 50 radio program. It was a pleasure to be able to introduce this to people and let them be aware of what's available out there.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Daniel. And have a wonderful day and look forward to talking to you soon.
You bet. Take care, my friend. We want to thank you, the listeners out there, for tuning in. You can discover more at beyond50radio.com. That is the number 50. We encourage you to sign up for our weekly e-newsletter and stay up to date with what's going on in the world of Beyond 50 as well as our upcoming shows. I'm Daniel Davis. Thanks again for joining us. This is the Beyond 50 radio program. And remember, wherever you are is where you should be. Have a great day.